you know, get them out, get them prepared. We're gonna do the thing, and yeah, the thumbnail is hilarious. Yeah, the thumbnail the thumbnail makes Ava look like a villain, and then Matthias looks like one of those like happy-go-lucky travelers or whatever. No, it's good. I think he, I think he, what did Ava do? I think he AI generated. He took out like our actual like photos or whatever, and then he did like an AI generated. He's like, how would we look if we were like cartoonish or whatever? Um, in a sense, and that's kind of how it came out. And he was like, done. So, um, let me make sure YouTube is good real quick. Looks like YouTube land is good. Just gonna put this out here for you guys. Our streams are gonna be cut back to doing roughly, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 hour sessions now, just because I have to get back to doing lots of work in May. So maybe 4 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week for about 4 hours each stream, sort of kind of thing. As stuff develops, obviously I will update on the actual guides. I am still holding on Rain of Arrows because Beast Wall Boost is, you know, not working, so I can't really do anything that is fun for the player base in that regard. But yeah, he put Woody just DH. And it, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the whole thumbnail, but yes, yes. Thank you, BM. Has Kill Mephisto T10 unlock T12 Warlock done real time now. Which of your builds is for pit pushing? You can pit push with any of them. Honestly. Tannis, what's happening? Yeah, I guess what are we doing? Oh, we got goblins in town. There's a guy already started some more plans, even if I wasn't doing anything. I don't want to do. Oh, by the way, real quick, found this out today. Zario did some testing. Do yourself a favor and make sure that you don't have any chance to CC on your gear at all. Like no chance to apply CC at any points. It totally screws up the bossing, like the boss's stagger. So I'm having to go back and check myself for some things. But yeah, so like this little 3.5% chance to freeze for 2 seconds. I don't know if that's a problem because I already have cold. So I don't know if that has an effect or not, but I'm not taking any chances. So I'm going to roll that off or roll for another whatever. But apparently there's something really bad interaction wise that if you have any sort of CC other than your initial one, it completely screws up the boss stagger. So it's a big difference, like a massive difference. So just want to put that out there for those who may not know. It screws it up. How I mean Blizzard code, like it doesn't stagger as fast shit. I mean pretty much, yeah. To put it in layman's terms, the more chance to CC you have, the slower your boss kills are gonna be. And the considerably harder it is to stagger. That's all you need to know. So, like I said, I have some on my gear, so I'm about to, at least one. So phobia, the narrow eye. Do I have another one just kind of chilling? Probably don't. I have Litna. Litna. Okay, so I'm about to just re-roll. So I get a phobia with some marksman without the CC. We'll see how that goes. Granted, I'm not doing any pushing or anything, so it's really not that big of a deal, but but I'm missing Phoba, right? So I might not be able to get the thing. Chance to freeze. Okay, there's Phoba, but no marksman. Yeah, it's me hard to get like the marksman and the Phoba. Grenade skills, chance to freeze. Yeah, so I might not be able to get it, but we'll see. Beru. Phoba freeze. More. Chance to slow. Okay, mats. Yeah, I barely use my stuff. Phoba. Yeah, but chance for me to actually like get what I want on the right thing is gonna be really, really hard. That's why I don't like doing like this will take forever. No. Terry, what's going on? How's it going? I've died. Is it because you have so much CC as a rogue? I wonder. I mean, probably because we're imbued. Barb's a physical, right? Alex, what's going on? Any good second aspect on neck recommendations for rapid fire or barrage? Just cold damage, honestly. Like cold damage is fine. So utility, cold, like chance to deal, or I forgot what it was called. I think it's like biting cold. Heck, Barb's match. Ice coffee, what's going on, man? You guys wish rogues were hotter. Yeah, that's the last phase. Are the grenade arrows any good for rapid fire or barrage? For rapid fire, they're good. Barrage, no. But I think for rapid fire, because the grenades are so focused, that like it's really good for like pushing. If you can gather and like you can push. I think the top rapid fire clear at the moment is like 133 by crafting, and he does the grenade room one. But it's a pretty convoluted setup, like in terms of like there's quite a bit of things you need to do to make sure that it actually works out well. But that explosive shot arrow is actually really good for pushing. But in terms of speed farming, though, I mean you can make it work, but it's gonna feel a little clunky because the attack speed is just naturally slower. And you're not getting any ricochets, so it's like very pinpoint focused. But that's kind of to be expected, though, right? Like your the pushing setups are gonna always be a bit different than like the regular setups. Yeah, so I went through about half of my blue mats to not see marksman on my Phoba. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. Yeah, so we did that. I'm gonna come to your stream and where I'm getting you're getting bullied. Wait, what's happening now? Terry said you're a 10 out of 10. How's Rogue this season? Fun. I'm personally enjoying Rogue a lot. All right, so I guess what we do, Helltide now. I'm said I'm mid. Who's supposed to be who in this song? They both sound like dude, this is like such an old rap, like obviously like where they are now. Like this is like about was like 15 years old roughly. Like imagine the material now versus then. Because I mean they were freaking talking about MySpace and that, so like you can tell how old that was. Sorry, who made the grenades? Aero Bill, only seeing one clear, 50s clears, no leaderboards. Crafty. So he doesn't do tower pit. He doesn't do tower pushes. He still does like the pit pushes. I don't know why he doesn't do tower. But you can find him on like hellties.com leaderboards. Like he still posts there because apparently that one's not tainted with the bugs or whatever. But like I said, it's only really meant for like pushing though. Like I wouldn't build that build or that setup for like regular T12 type farming stuff. So just keep in mind that while that is very strong, just understand the purpose behind that setup, if that makes sense. Like I'll give you an example. Like let's just say, you know, you see somebody or you see this like really like souped up like I don't know, like old school Nissan Skyline, right? And you're like, yo, I want that car, right? But the most that you're gonna do is like drive the CVS and maybe to work in like New York City traffic, right? If that's what you're gonna do with that car, then you probably don't want that type of car. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want that car that with those specs because it's not meant for daily driving like that. You'd be uncomfortable. You know, you don't have all the amenities that will make, you know, going to CVS pharmacy or to work or whatever, like, you know, like a good experience. It's not meant for that. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing for like pit pushing builds in a sense, where like they're meant for that specific activity, not necessarily for speed farming. Now you can adjust it for speed farming, but you know, but their purpose is not for that. How fun is it to build for the in-game gear according to the gameplay you like, and it actually works? Well, for me on Rogue, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, like a ton of fun. I can't speak for others, but So watch the oxide. Don't worry, you can always count on at least Heartseeker being intuitive gameplay. I would never make Heartseeker over complicated. Would Combination make that better? No, not necessarily. Combination Dagger doesn't make sense to me right now. Like, it's literally basically a generic aspect with a condition that you can already meet with the set bonus by itself. Like, literally, like, you can just take a regular sword with the and get an aspect that deals just as much damage, if not more, rather than trying to chase a unique that you can't change stats on for a literally basic ass aspect. I don't know why. They really need to take a look at Combination Dagger again and be like, why did I design this way? Which road build would I consider best overall? With Pin Shot, I feel like I can't wrap up great single target damage. Well, your single target damage with Pin Shot is going to be based on whether or not you can get the bounces to actually bounce back to the original target. If you can get a lot of your shots to kind of bounce, you know, in your favor, then you know, the boss will die. Bosses will die pretty pretty quickly. If not, then it does kind of become a little bit of a struggle. But just keep in mind that any cold build on Rogue is gonna struggle on bosses that are not staggered, because we just deal lots of crowd control or lots of cold damage, basically. So just keep that to note. There is no rogue build that is going to mollywop boss on T12 without it being staggered, unless you're like sweated out in like complete GG gear. Ow. Twisted, what's going on? Like, I really want to stop and send him win and press a basic 3 times. Well, you also got to remember too, like, sometimes. So I put it this way. I hear y'all. Like, I hear what you're saying. But there's definitely 2 sides to each story with that, right? And what I mean by that is that as a build guide creator, you get crap from multiple angles from different players, right? If you make a build and it's not the 100% best way to make a build, people will complain that you didn't put like 4 multipliers on your amulet with 4 GA as like all maxed out as part of your planner, right? Or, you know, so what if the setup requires you to sit there and push all 6 buttons like 500 times a second or whatever? You know, it needs to be the best version, right? People will get upset if you don't have it. Then you have the other side where people do get upset, where it's kind of like, well, hey, bro, can you make a build that actually functions, right? Where it's like, look, I'm not trying to go to 7-Eleven to pump gas just to get a 20% damage buff that you're asking me to do, right? And that's fair. Like, that's also fair criticism too, right? But the problem is that you get that from both ends of the equation, right? And depending on who you're writing for, and also what website you're writing for, you know, kind of determines the route that you go, right? Like for Maxroll, we are definitely free to write setups or whatever that also feels good to the player. We don't necessarily have to make sure that it's min-maxed on DPS the entire time. We can add defensive things and utility things to make the builds feel more comfortable to play. We are allowed to do that. Whereas I'm not going to speak for other websites or whatnot. Maybe that may or may not be the case, right? Or it could just be someone's brand, right? You know, like for instance, like we were talking about Mippy, right? Like Mippy's brand is literally like the best thing possible, right? The most damaging thing possible. So if it means you gotta sit there and basic attack something 3 times, that's what's gonna be in the in the setup, right? That's you know, that's his thing, you know, min max, right? So just, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's like 100% nothing wrong with that at all, right? Rob is the same way. Like, you know, when you watch Rob, you're not watching Rob and following his builds because you think you can actually achieve said builds. You're following and watching what someone with Chinese gear and a Chinese setup looks like. That's what you're looking at. And you know that, right? You're not looking to follow any of those builds because you know you would never have the gear to ever do any of those builds that he's putting out. Like, you know that. Like, you know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like but that's his brand, right? That's the brand. So you just, you know, you go into it knowing that that's that's the brand. Eric, what's going on? I first saw a different skill bar guys. I didn't realize this thing Heartseeker still on it, bro. You're like never around when I'm playing Rapid Fire or Barrage. You just happen to only come when I'm playing Heartseeker. I played Barrage last screen a little bit, and before that I played some Rapid Fire. I bounce back and forth a lot. And don't hate me for wanting to play Heartseeker, man. It's not my fault it's fun. I'm gonna file a complaint against Heartseeker, man. Also, another example too, right? You know, Woody Joe. Like when Woody Joe makes his builds, right? Like he makes his builds, you know, definitely for the more for comfort, you know, for like, you know, hardcore base or whatnot, where, you know, you're tankier than usual and like you can actually take some hits, right? Like, so when Woody makes his builds, he keeps those things in mind. So you know when you're following a Woody guy that you're gonna, you know, you're gonna feel comfortable taking some damage, you know, from enemies. Like, you know that, right? So. Just putting that out there for, you know. I don't think there's a wrong way to go about or do anything. You just, you know. Woody already has twice the HP I do. Yeah. the funny thing about it is that like the way that I go about making builds for the community is different than how I go about making builds for myself. So like the community version versus my version are like a little bit different, and people get a little confused. It's like, how come you're in game you got this going on, but on the guide you actually have toughness? I'm like, well, I promise you don't want to play the way that I play. you don't want to you don't want to. Half the time I don't know what my toughness stat looks like. I don't even know how much HP I have. Like that's how I play the game. But I can't expect everyone else to kind of follow that same train of thought, right? It's like if I die, okay, I just play better. That's how I do things. As long as you have more than 1 HP, you're good. I mean, pretty much. There's the between cold, fire, and any damage multi and all. Damage multi, they're in the same different buckets. They're actually in the same bucket. Those are in the same bucket. There's a really good video by Averlin on YouTube. He explains how damage works. He does a phenomenal job breaking it all down. I'm still on Star Rapid Fire and I like it. It seems like forever since you could play a dedicated range build. Very true. Very good if you put time into the builds early in the early season. Thanks, man. I appreciate that you're having fun with it. Sorry if really? Sorry if I haven't been making any like videos or anything in the recent. Normally I would have made like 3 videos by now on different builds or whatever, but I guess haven't had the time. And it's really stressful trying to do it while doing all the other stuff at the same time. As Rob Zombie Bot, imagine me too famous. No, I don't have anybody block. I guess I have crossplay off because I wanted less people in Helltide. That's all. I didn't know it actually blocks the messages too. I guess I need to change the cross communication part of it. So that's my bad on that. I guess I'll go ahead and get this chest over here. What's the name? Averlin? Actually, any mods or anybody in chat, you guys know the video I'm talking about, right? The damage video by Averlin. Can you guys link in the chat for Flyrec? I might just make it a command at some point. Like, is that good? You found it? Okay, good. You're getting bored with pin shot? Really? You're not enjoying the sperm trying to find the egg setup of Sanctuary? You're getting bored of impregnating Sanctuary? Really? Like, like literally. Nah, I'm messing with you, man. So Gilbert, so it's gonna be kind of hard to recommend you something like to be on like the honest side, because pin shot is extremely visually satisfying. Now that I said what I said before, that it sounds dirty, but it's the most visually satisfying range setup, just because of what it looks like, right? With that being said, I think Heartseeker is probably the easiest to get into and to play. Very straightforward. Actually does decent AoE damage, and it's really good single target damage. Rapid Fire is also really good for that too. Albit, a little clunkier to play. But Barrage just reminds you of multi-shot from D3, so there's always that visual factor. But you can't really go wrong with any of the three, to be honest.
Okay then, guess it's my turn.
Holy man with the sub, appreciate you, man. Impregnate. Sanctuary is a feeling to watch. Yeah. I'm not saying anything no more for the rest of the stream. I'm done. Done.
That's it for that piece.
Oh wait, I didn't get the whatchamacallit? Oh, Kiras Undercity is what's supposed to go. Oh, not Helltide. Whoops. Well, I mean, there is a reason why they call it penetrating shot, right? I mean, the devs knew what they were doing. Yeah. Just the only difference is instead of it taking 9 months, it took them like 3 years. But we got there though. We got there. All right, I'm done. I'm done. No more. No more. I'm done with it. Man sitting in a chair in the corner. Yeah, shoot it. Took him 3 years to finally get to 1.0. I think what I said kind of went over your head, just slightly, when I said 9 months. But you're also not wrong. Is that all the things? Yeah. You got me. Pew pew, what's going on? Random question, have I tried anything with Doombringer? The proc is not worth. So the reason why is good with Azarath is because you can build around cold easily. Right? And Azarath doesn't really have a proc value anymore. It's just like a multiplier that multiplies your own damage, whereas Doombringer is a specific proc value. It's nowhere near close to what Azarath can do right now. At least not on Rogue. I can't speak for the other classes, but not on Rogue. On Rogue is pretty much a dead item. You do know what the ideal 4-man pushing method is? No idea. That would be a Rob question for sure. Also, I don't know many people who actually really do push 4-man. It's quite a rarity to see. For rogues, that sounds awful. That's so awful. You're gonna be at the boss for like, I don't know. You're gonna be sitting at the boss. Uh, Yo, I mean, GTA 5 will be released before the boss, before the four rogues finish the boss. Just saying. This is- the idea for a man push meta is having 3 friends. I guess it's a high bar, huh? No Moonrise aspect. I should have it. I have it on mine. Shivering just does more damage than Moonrise, honestly. But if you'd rather go Moonrise somewhere, then yeah, you can. Like Moonrise instead of Shivering. But that's just, that's your choice. Moonrise would be better versus non-CC targets, obviously. But Shivering would be better when you can apply cold damage. Is the Secession know the best way to play Barrage until multi-shots fixed? And if so, are there any changes for that version that are not in your planner? So I did do a update yesterday. It's like a small update. And it's more so to talk about it. So I decided to, with my better gear now versus when I actually did play Barrage, I decided to do some T12 just farming with multi-shot Barrage. And to come to find out that despite the fact that it is bugged, it still does fine in T12, like for farming with good gear. The damage difference between bug multi-shot now and when it's fixed is about the size of an aspect. So it's like not having an aspect. Basically, it's worth of damage if you choose to go multi-shot over Secession. So if you prefer to do multi-shot still, you can. And I did put it back on to the build in that case. But I did tell people at the same time that Secession is just more damage for now. Sure, just because multi-shot's bug, but you don't have to go that route if you don't want to. And to be quite honest, I honestly do not like Secession at all. At least not for speed farming. I think it's just like, I don't know. If the AoE was like maybe twice the size, I'm sure, but like it just doesn't feel good to play. Oh, touch out, Doc. That's all right. Anyone have a Bach? Wait, rune. I need to get buried for this poison Doc build, apparently. Well, I mean, do you have Quay? You don't necessarily need Bach. I mean, Bach is great, obviously, because you're always moving, but there are other ways to proc Quay if you don't have Bach. We must have spent all this time in town crafting. Well, now that we actually have a crafting system, I mean, I can understand that. They actually did a good job with the crafting, with actual crafting in this game. But I feel you though. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about doing Harbinger of Hatred on T12, but you feel like they can insert a basic skill ranged weapon. What do you mean, Sylvia? You don't have Quay yet either? Oh, okay. Oh, you got one? I mean, so technically speaking, Orphan Maker is kind of that somewhat, or it was that for 3 seasons. Mainly used as a basic attack skill weapon. No, the stupid phase. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. I'm out. Because I messed up. And also, to be honest with you, Sylvia, I kind of like I kind of like using a legendary weapon anyway over like a unique weapon because it's so much easier to get the stats you want on it because you can actually build your own unique weapon. Whereas like with something like, let's say for example, Wind Force here is like you have to hope it rolls well to be able to use it. Whereas I can literally build a GG crossbow or a GG bow with just a blue weapon, like one blue affix, right? So I much prefer the ease of being able for it to be like a legendary, honestly. I built today. I'm not doing anything special. Just farming with Heartseeker. What up, Crafty? You hit the unique changes. Yeah, they don't really feel unique anymore. Like they don't. Oh, I don't want to fight them anyway. Oh, Crafty, let me ask you a question. What makes you prefer the Tyrio's Might over a regular two-hand chess? Not two-hand chess. Um, regular chess. Ow. Get him and he's playing the game. What happened now? What was the question? Hold on. My chat. I gotta scroll up. Does the Raiment of Infinite still exist? In game, people not talking. I have no idea, honestly. I have no idea. Your question about Tyrios was great. There are aspects with extra steps. Oh, you mean the uniques? What up, Matthias? It depends on how good the Tyrios is now. They're very similar in terms of defense. A two-hand chest would be slightly better on the defensive end if you get several GAs on the right spots. But a Tyrios Might is very easy to plug and play for defense. You don't have to worry about getting the right stats because it already has it, right? So as a stopgap measure is great. There's also, I guess, the case that you can make too as well in terms of it might be easier to get like gem strength on a Tyrios Might because you might be able to get more Tyrios Mites to throw away than like a really good legendary chest throw away for possible gem strength transfiguration or whatever. So I guess there is that. That's like the main thing I can imagine going a Tyrios Might over a regular chest for. See, I didn't even see Earthquake. It blended in with the freaking environment. Didn't even see it. Like the overhead thing. There it is again. Yep, I saw I saw it too late. Let me just get out of this corner. Come on. Come on. Okay, he's not gonna chase. It's been a while since 115 has been this painful for me. Alright. Alright, no mobs around. I can get the one stagger kill. I think my favorite thing about Rogue is that I can play Poison Doc and watch Netflix at the same time. It makes me make it just more tanky, the potential armor roll. I mean, max life and armor. And also, like, you can get a bigger damage reduction aspect than you can get damage reduction on the Tyrios Might, if that makes sense. I just said, so with Korean gear, you think Rapid Fire can do 135? Probably. Looking at your setup, probably. Because you still got like room to go, to grow still. You've yet to see a single gym strength transfer. Me neither, but I haven't really tried that hard, honestly. I tried like a couple of times and that was kind of it. Tyrios Might. I wish for 2 chest plates, 1 Tyrios, 1 brain. Well, yeah. So like you have, so in order for you, in order for you to match the DR, you have to get the GA and you have to masterwork it. Whereas all you need is an aspect. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying like in a traditional sense, unless you can get a 4 GA tier or 3 GAs Tyrio Might. Yeah, Unless you can get a 3GA Tyrios might. And I guess also too, it's the same thing with the regular chest. I mean, a 4GA regular chest versus a 3GA Tyrios might. Regular chest would still be slightly better. Granted that you have all your Paragon points filled out in the armor and all res nodes too as well. So you got to think about those things as well. Honestly, well, you got cooldown on this chest though. I would probably just keep the Tyrios might for the cooldown reduction alone. But generally speaking, I probably would go with the regular chest if it wasn't for that. To be honest, roll heavenly strength on it or whatever, or when that resolve aspect actually works, which is really good damage reduction. That's definitely going to be out of Tyrios might. Wait, did I not do the thing? Okay, here we go. Yeah, we did. Primarily, you can look at it this way. Primarily, the movement speed stat on the Tyrios might is a dead stat. And there's nothing you can do about it. Granted, I guess you could build around it. I guess remove movement speed off your boots or whatever for another defensive stat to kind of make up for the fact that you have it on your chest. You can go that route too. I just don't think Tyrios might is like the GOAT it once was for the defensive side of things. Every build you make is a test. Remember the time you gave me a perfectly well 4GA word of comp for free and you didn't even say thank you? Yeah, I remember that dream I had too. You definitely said that. I figured you wasn't gonna play Renovaros. What season was that, by the way? I'm trying to catch up with the chat. There's a lot of chatting now. You can transfigure crit chance. Yeah. Fair. Yes, and now it's back up to A tier. Poison Dancer Naj, yeah. Let's see what you got. Oh well, then that's a better chest. That's a better chest, yes. For damage reduction, that is. Our secret feeling, great actually. I can't wait till the mini bugs are fixed. I actually think clone would do well. If I can imbue the clone, because I can't now, because it won't let me, because it, you know, bugged or whatever. If I can imbue the clone, I can kind of remove a useless skill on my bar. I kind of just take just to have something there. And then I'll also get the Edna's, you know, 60% damage multiplier that I'm missing, because that's also a bug. But I think Heartseeker is gonna get some major stonks once all those things are addressed. Like the only reason why we can't use clone in this build is because we can't imbue it. That's all. Otherwise, even if it was just like maybe 15 to 20% more damage, like that's still definitely worth using, right? Whereas right now it's not even that, because I can't imbue it. If I try asking the clone to nicely imbue us, well, yeah, you know, I crowd when you said multi-shot is bug on barrage. Yeah, I mean, like it's still functional and it still works, and you can do T12 with it. I'm just mad that like I'm missing like 60% of, you know, of my damage because combo points is not properly scaling with it. So just knowing that I'm missing damage on top of the other bugs that are just in the Rose kit just doesn't sit well with me. Otherwise, I'd play Barrage more. But like I said, I mean, you totally can play it right now. Incognito, have you not listened to, you didn't hear what I said earlier, right? I said you can do multi-shot if you would like, instead of doing succession. It's just that you're gonna be missing about one aspect's worth of damage by choosing multi-shot. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, which is why I'm saying, you know, if you really want to play multi-shot, just do it. Appreciate the follow. It's on farming cube mass and tributes. Tributes just drop like candy for the most part. Cube mass you can get from doing tributes. And also just salvaging charms and seals and stuff. Or at least for specific cube mats. There's also certain things, like certain affixes you can get off of like Nightmare Dungeon keys that also can reward more of that specific kind of thing too as well. But typically speaking, I kind of like the harass Undercity approach of things. like grinding escalations. I actually only done one of them. Have they really gotten any better? I know I hear that they've been really good for gold. Like if you get like uh, a gold escalation sigil, like they're really good. But outside of that, I haven't heard anything else about escalation sigils. Anyone else got any um any feedback on them? Try to false death. Mm. Oh man, are you serious? GA's in the. I mean, I guess if I need a defensive bow to start off with, actually, no, never mind. I'm never gonna use that. Let's be honest. How you can make this like just nothing? Mythics are so easy. Like, I mean, just mythic tributes is guaranteed at least one mythic. Usually multiples if you get if you get lucky per run. Conquer a nightmare dungeon. Okay, so you know what? I'll throw in the escalation sigil. We'll do this one. Actually, wait a minute. That's interesting. I never noticed this. So it's an ancestral legendary escalation sigils. I actually didn't pay attention to that because like we don't have them for nightmare dungeons, right? But there's an ancestral escalation sigil. All right, let's do that then. We're about to seem to take longer to spawn. I've hardly ever done any this season. I haven't felt like a need to. Earlier on, yes. I was really low on prisms for a while. Well, while being like the first 3 days. Because I was like rolling everything to test a bunch of different stuff. So I was poking all kinds of holes in my gear. War plans taking forever. Hoping next season is quicker. I kind of like the idea of the war plans being somewhat of a grind. It gives you something to do outside of just like trying to scale pit or an ore tower. Anything that like, you know, takes a little time for you to get, you know, better stuff. And an action RPG that's, you know, really meant to, you know, take your time. I think it's a W in my opinion. Appreciate the follow. I always get too distracted to efficiently do these strong rooms always want to kill everything instead of like actually trying to go to the objectives. Like straight to the objectives, I guess. I suffer from that piece of candy syndrome. Tears is roast back. For overall endgame, A. Things will change in, you know, weekly as bugs get fixed and stuff. Who knows where other class builds and including road builds will end up when stuff actually works like it's supposed to, or bug fixes, those kind of things. Spec looks fun. Oh yeah. I mean that's kind of what it really all should be about anyway. I typically don't chase tiers, I chase fun factor. I guess nowadays, with where my guild level is right now, everything's mostly a one shot. In T12, like normal content ish. At least might take 2 or 3 hits depending, but I think this is the funnest roast back. Fun is subjective. So for the play style that I like the way that I like to play, yes, this is one of the more fun rogue specs for me. I like playing range, I like stutter stepping, I like dodging things, I like being mobile. I like things that kind of make sense. So yeah. But I also like rapid fire and barrage as well, like a lot. How can you kill a boss without stagger? Scaling your damage, scaling your build. Eventually you'll get to the point where you can do enough damage outside of stagger to either kill a boss or severely wound it before they become staggered. Which makes you wonder how much damage that, you know, someone's really doing when they are staggered. If you're doing that much damage outside of stagger. But no, just scaling your gear, getting the proper affixes, grinding up your glyphs, upgrading your weapon, you know, traditional action RPG grind. People play party anymore. I feel like people only play solo. The war plans are a little more difficult to level up at like in groups than when you're playing solo. That's partially why. But outside of that, I mean, I've always been mostly a solo player in general. Even back in the D3 days. No, I'll do this event. I've watched both Aberlin videos to understand the difference between 10% all damage multiplier and 10% lightning damage multiplier. No, there is no difference. You go with the one that rolls higher, basically. Incognito. I just read your comments. Yeah, I gotta scroll up. There's more chatter than usual, so I have to kind of like scroll up before I like see some of the missing comments. But actually, let me make my little chat thing wider so I can get more comments into the screen. I did my first T12 pit ever and did without looking up a bill and was Spiritborn with no poison. Felt really good about it. Nice, man. I did that same thing in PoE 2 where I got to T15 mapping or whatever, literally without looking at anything, knowing nothing about the game, and did solo self, which was obviously, you know, rough or whatnot, and just kind of did a good along the way, like a made up build going forward. It was a lot of fun. That was actually probably the most fun I had in Path of Exile 2 was when I was able to do that. But kudos to GGG for making the tooltips actually make sense. So there, I could actually, you know, make my own setup, and most things actually make sense and do what they say they're, you know, that it does. I feel like D4 is getting better with that, but still has a pretty, you know, it's got some ways to go. That springs the principles of that build, of what build? What I'm playing right now, or? What do you want to know? Yes, Heartseeker, how to build on a budget. I have a build guide. It'd be a lot easier to kind of look at it from a build guide perspective, like a planner perspective. Do exclamation mark builds. I have a starter setup, a mid-game setup, and a end-game setup. Melee rogue this season. I'm generally not a fan of melee builds in general, but I might play some Twisting Blades at some point. Because I can actually play the build without Blade Dancer, so that actually sparked my interest a little bit. If I do Twisting Blades, I'll probably do cold. I won't do poison. We love melee. Shank real crying in the corner. I know, right? I still want to put that together too as well. The thing about melee is that I just don't like getting hit. So if there are play styles where I can kind of jump in and out and, you know, have the ability to use skill expression to avoid damage, I would. Right? That's why I like playing melee related stuff on Monster Hunter games, because you know you can literally avoid everything if you know the fight well enough, right? But in action RPGs, there's so much going on, and more often than not, there's damage that you're meant to take that is actually unavoidable. And I don't like just taking damage just because the game makes you. Is pin shot still OP? But pin shot's bugged. So yes. If you want to clear 150 in 25 seconds or whatnot using the egregious bug, you can still do that. Just make sure you put that on your resume and your dating profile while you're at it. My dad must have been melee. He was jumping in and out of my life. Yeah, that's dark. That is, bro. Bro, you didn't need to do that. This build looks ridiculously easy to play. Is it easy to build as well? Yeah, pretty much. It's very straightforward. So while the build is very straightforward and easy to play, I apply a lot of stutter stepping to make it look a little more complicated than it really is, but it's not. For the most part, you just point the mouse in the direction of the enemy with your Heart Seeker and mainly just watch stuff die. That is the premise of the build. The wolves take care of marking stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to manually proc Pangorgers. The wolves would do it for you automatically. Yeah. Could this be good for hardcore? Yeah. I mean, you could build anything for hardcore just as long as you know what things to take instead. I need to fill out that facts on my build guys in terms of what to do for hardcore for a setup like this. But yeah, you certainly can. Like I would take temerity and make sure you have maximum health on like your two-hander instead of just more damage. Some more defensive, like an additional defensive aspect. Amongst a few other things. But yeah, you absolutely can do this for hardcore. And it's a range build, so that makes it easier to survive in hardcore. Give me the gold. Yeah. Thanks for the rapid fire build. Still without Starless, but I'm from struggling to T11. Came with the hard try hard secret barrage. Thanks so much. Yeah, man, you're welcome. Glad you're having fun. Controller life. Can I show what runes are currently using? What is it? Potgar and Circe. I can't take both of them. Can't make it over there in time. Link build. It's in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, just look at the YouTube description. There's a link to the build there. Heart Seeker. Oh, 4, what's going on? I'm taking random rails and it's definitely potential. And for around 50 billion max with non-optimal gear, Mythic's hitting about 100 about 7 minutes. I'm sure you can make it pop off. You take a proper crack at it. I have. That's the thing. Like I've literally done everything I possibly could on random rails so far. The problem is Beastfall boots. There's no way to make it a good feeling proper build without Beastfall boots. That's why it's not on Max Roll right now. It's not because I haven't done anything with it or I don't want it up there. Random Rails has always been one of my favorite specs. It's just you cannot properly build it in a way that people are going to want to play it without Beastfall boots. Like the amount of work, the amount of gear requirements, and how it feels to play to do less damage than every other bow build overall, it's just not worth it. So when Beastfall is fixed, Beastfall boost is fixed, or whatnot, trust me, I will definitely have it up. And there'll be something I will be playing myself as well. Between Barrage, Rapid Fire, or Secret, which one can reach the highest pit? Probably Rapid Fire. But I mean, Are you planning on trying to reach the highest pit possible, or you just want something that has the ability to reach the highest pit? Those are two very different things, right? Because playing pit at that level is a much different game than like regular T12 farming stuff. Going. Wasn't worried the bug. Yeah, it sucks, man. It really does suck. King David, what's going on? You enjoying Rogue? Yeah. Very much so. Yeah, and those that you weren't playing Rain, that's like your bread and butter. It has been the past 4 seasons, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's definitely not because I didn't want to, for sure. Also, Water Hakan is garbage. I don't know what they did. I don't know why they neutered that unique like that, man. Like the Ranavero's unique is like the poster child of like why uniques are like feel awful. Like they're just like they're just bad. Like I'm saying bad, but like just the stats itself is what made World of Hakan, and without those stats, it's just like it's just a mediocre multiplier. I won't say mediocre, but like you can, it's not. It's just not worth taking. I have 19 points left for Paragon board. What's your Paragon Aster up us? Like, are you Paragon 300 already? You have points left over. Most of the time, you wanna once you grab your important stuff, you wanna go and like go around and like grab the things that you would have grabbed, but you just didn't because you wanted more damage. Right? So, for instance, as you're going and you're grabbing like the legendary nodes or whatever, and then putting your glyphs in, fill in, and getting the just the base bonus of that or whatnot. And I guess whatever close yellow nodes are around, you definitely want to go back and pick up your all res stuff, all res armor, life percent, which is really really good. So therefore you can scale up your defense too as well. At that point, because once you're at this point, grabbing extra additive nodes isn't going to really do much for you versus like the defensive stuff. That's definitely going to help you a lot. Now once you're like Paragon 300 or whatever, or 270 280 something, you have extra nodes, extra stuff left over, that's when you can go, hey, okay, let's grab some of the additive stuff that's easy to get to, as well as dexterity. And that's kind of really it. That. Barber's on level entirely. Yeah, that's because the old overpower mechanics still apply to certain classes. Some of them, that is, which is making Barb overperform massively. Do you have any flawless gems? Nah, don't. Why is Edna's so hard to get? What does Edna's drop anyway? Is that Butcher? Immortal with absurd damage. Yeah, pretty much. You wish the difference between Sork and Barb were a lot closer to the other classes. Well, I mean, there is, again, same like I was saying before. Some things in their kit is just vastly overtuned. I don't think they'll do anything about it this season because I mean, it just kind of is what it is. You don't want to just nerf, like you want to fix bugs, not necessarily nerf people's setups. I guess at the moment, so you can get an idea how everything performs when all the bug fixes are done. But once the scaling of some of these things are proper, you know, it will come down naturally. But oftentimes, I don't really pay attention too much to what other classes are doing, outside of just being able to properly assess where the builds that I write for are supposed to be on the tier list. But outside of that, I never really care what they're doing. I look at it as like real life, right? If someone has a better house than me, I don't, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, tell people about it and be like, man, this dude got like 7 rooms and got like 4 garages, and man, I wish I had 7 rooms and 4 garages. Like, I'm happy with my house. I'm not upset about it. It's okay. Like, him having his house doesn't have any sort of effect on what I do with my house. So good on him or her. I just focus on me and my house. You just say that's some nice stuff. Yeah, you know, yeah, just and then just keep it moving. I don't, you know, I don't make comparisons about where my life is versus where his life is or her life is. You know what I mean? I do with what I can control, and that's it. I look at gaming the same way. You know, if a class is doing, you know, tier 800 pit or whatever, like, okay. Like, okay. Like, it has no effect on me that you know, that they're doing the Eye of tier pit. So, is it imbalanced? Oh, absolutely. But it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it doesn't actually affect what I'm doing. It's just not cool. That's all. From a balance perspective. But I won't quit playing the game or any of those other things just because that's happening. I'll use your badge. I feel like I have a hard time getting like really like getting good charms. I do kind of want to keep one of these Fist of the Iron Rose though. In case I do play some melee related stuff. Wait. Five, 6. 5, 5. Crash. Then Paladin got the short end of the stick. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. But to be fair, they had the big end of the stick the past 2 seasons. They had their DLC prowess or whatnot. But I mean, they can still do T12. Just that people tend to compare what Paladin's doing versus what Barb is doing. It's kind of like, oh no, I can't play Paladin now because Barb is doing all the super duper damage.
Oh, sorry. Try again.
And my Paladin requires more time and effort to do damage, right? So, Mage. I do think Paladin could, obviously use some buffs. I'm not saying that it's totally like fine across the board, but some of the hyperbole that goes around with stuff like this, I think is quite silly sometimes.
Oh, what is a waitress, isn't it?
Should I put on Narrow Eye even though it doesn't have a plus marksman skill on it? Yes. Yes. Get it in 5-piece. Is much more important than what's on the stats on the charm at the time. By far. Is Twisting Blaze getting nerfed on Wednesday? Twisting Blaze isn't OP. Why would it get nerfed? Unless I'm missing something. Twisting Blaze is like not on anybody's radar, to be honest with you. Someone said Twisting Blaze is bugged. Not in the way, at least to my knowledge, not in the way that's causing the build to vastly overperform. No. There might be some things that aren't working that would make it perform better. We'll just go straight down. Is Barb the strongest class this season? Yeah. What's the pen shot bug? Something with shades. I'm not gonna like explain. Dang, I just got stuff. That was before I got my dark shrouds up. That hurt. Okay, we're gonna take a different approach here. Ow. And my Cordon Beam is not up either. Because I got hit. Alright, now we're good. Wait, they were waiting for me to come around that corner. Yeah, I'm not going to explain how to do the bug, but let's just say you can progress without killing stuff. That's the biggest part of the bug. Thought Ball Lightning was best. Whirlwind Barb. Ball Lightning is really good too. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Ball Lightning is still it's very, very good. But in terms of overall efficiency and stuff, like it's hard to beat Whirlwind Barb right now. have to not evade. Sword does more damn. That's better in your book. Okay. If it's all about the zeros, then yeah, I guess so. More commas and number equal better. Got it.
Excellent fight.
I'll make sure that like when I go buy a car, that I just look at the speedometer to see how big number is, and then I purchase car based off that. Because you know, bigger number, better. Was the game not a car? The concept still applies though. Because when you think about what you're using the car for and what you're using bills for, the concept still applies, right? Like in order to do content well, you need more than just zeros, right? You don't buy a car for fun? But I'm saying though, like you can do a fulfilling amount of damage, but if you can't, but like the rest of the kit matters too because of what you're doing in the game, right? That's all I'm saying. Just like a car, right? You know, sure, if a car can go 400 miles per hour, hypothetically, right? That's great, but what's that gonna do for your McDonald's runs, or you know, you going to work in the city? Like it doesn't. It's good to have. I guess it's cool, but I mean, does that really make it a better car overall? Overall. Main point I'm making is that it's more than just about damage. Just like it's, you know, driving a car is more than about how fast it can go. That's all I'm saying. And within that context, it makes sense. Not for you. Okay. Everyone knows the color that matters. It has to be red. You know what? I don't disagree with that. More horsepower, better torque, doesn't matter. I mean, to be fair though, you know, for Aztec, maybe, you know, his fun factor is just how big the zero is in the damage number, right? And there's nothing wrong. Like if that's his fun factor, if that's how he wants to enjoy the game, then you know, nothing wrong with that. In fact, a lot of people kind of have that, you know, that mentality. Bigger number, more fun. So, nothing wrong with that. Because fun is subjective, right? So. It's not fun to do no damage. Well, technically, there's no such thing as no damage. Unless the number is like in the negative integer, right? So at that point, that's also pretty relative and also subjective. Do I know what you mean? Do I? The action RPG community world is actually pretty wild, man. Depends on who you talk to. You know, you can have people say, "Oh man, anything below S tier is like a bad build, or can't do XYZ content or whatever." Like, and then you have people who you could talk to is like, "Oh no, you know, actually C tier builds can do T12 content just fine. It's just a longer progression." Right? Different mentalities. Not saying one is right or wrong, just totally different perspective of what, you know, people may feel an action RPG is supposed to be, or what you're supposed to be doing in an action RPG. When you see a friend one-shot things way higher, it's not fun. Oh well, I mean, well that's a balance issue, right? Also, your friend might have better gear, might have a better setup, might spend more time. There's many reasons why that could have been the case too. Maybe he knows what he's doing. I mean, there's multiple reasons why that happens, right? But like I said, there's nothing wrong with, you know, how any individual would view what they may find fun, right? Focus has more speed and DPS. No, that was such a bad move on my part. Like I felt the death before it happened. That was a bad decision. I don't know. It sounded like it didn't like it. You didn't like that. Like big numbers. No, I mean I'm not saying there's anything wrong with liking big numbers. I think the idea is when I'm talking about what makes a build overall good. Ideally, when I'm telling someone, "Hey, this build is such and such," I'm looking at it from more than just the numbers perspective. Because I'm looking at overall. If someone was to ask, "Hey, which build does the biggest numbers?" then my answer would have been different, right? But you was like, no. You said no. Best build is obviously the one that does the biggest numbers, and that's just where I disagreed. I didn't say you didn't like having big numbers. I'm not against the biggest numbers, but if you're talking about overall, then you know that my answer is going to be different. But if you're just talking about what gives you the most commas in your number, you know, which build requires 5 monitors to see your damage number, then yeah, then my answer would be different, right? Yeah, Assassin's Sword Break does way more damage. As an overall spec, I was saying no. As an overall spec, not just because of how much damage it does. Like for instance, I will give you an example. Appreciate that sub level 5 go. Like on the road. Let's talk about road because that's my class, right? Depth Trap does the most damage in our class, but very few people play it for 2 reasons. one, it's hella hard to get the gear for it, like ridiculously hard to get the gear for it. And two, literally, if you step wrong in the world, you die. Like there is zero survivability. And if you can't survive, there's nothing. Having all that damage is, not really worth not being able to play the game, right? So there's a trade-off, right? If you want that kind of damage, sure, you can go for it. But like if someone was to ask me, hey, what's a really good build that does a heck of a lot of damage on Rogue, it's hard for me to recommend Death Trap. Despite the fact that it technically does the most damage, what is going to give a player experience a way to go? There's a give and take. Yeah. So like that's why I like to use cars as an example, where it's like, okay, well, sure, you get a car, it has the biggest, like the most horsepower and stuff. But if you can't turn, if it has a horrible turning radius, it gets like 5, miles per gallon, and all these other like really like non-quality of lives, but the car can go 400 miles per hour, then it's kind of like, I'm not going to recommend that, despite the fact that it's the fastest car. But I use that example because people, drive, so it's easier for people to understand the context of what I'm trying to say when I say stuff like that. So generally speaking, on Rogue, I would recommend Pinch Shot over Death Trap, even though Death Trap technically does more damage. But Pinch Shot is much better quality of life. And again, you can't deal damage if you're dead, right? So if you're dead, you're technically doing less damage than the other person who has a build that has less damage but can stay alive, aka Barb Whirlwind versus Sword Ball Lightning. So it's not all just about the damage. The damage is important. No debating that. Is that why I have Heartseeker as A and the place has it as low C? Well, to be honest, we at Maxwell don't really necessarily place our own builds and our own things. There's a metric that we use. I actually can't really talk much about how we place the metrics, to be quite honest. I will say this though. I don't think there's anyone content creator wise or build guy wise, creator wise, that's played more Heartseeker than I have, or who's actually built out Heartseeker in general. But I will say that initially people thought just like me, right? Initially I didn't think Heartseeker was going to be a thing when expansion came out. Like when I was looking at the numbers, like if you look at the numbers initially, like C tier was probably the proper place to put it initially before it was played. Like when you look at the numbers, you're like, okay, yeah, I don't see how it's going to keep up with any of the core skills. And I thought the same thing too, until I actually put it together and played it, and I was like, oh, this is actually, better than I thought it was gonna be. But initially I would have had it in C tier too, myself. Yeah, I mean, overall though, Heartseeker keeps up with the other core builds on Rogue. They show me where the hellest decent dungeon is. The hell is decent dungeon? I enjoy a streamer who can disagree with chat and not kick him or something. Oh yeah, oh no, yeah, that's not gonna happen here. No, I never kick people for having a different opinion. That's so silly. I'm a teacher in real life, so I mean, people are going to disagree and have different perspectives, and that's totally fine. You don't learn anything by speaking with people that only agree with you and like disagree with you. This Heart Seeker, yeah. But speaking of which, though, Aztec, about the damage stuff, the numbers things. Ironically enough, I build very glass cannon. Like I build pure damage on my characters. So while I said everything I said earlier about overall build and stuff like that, I tend to build very classy and just hopefully use player ability to dodge stuff or whatnot. So I may not necessarily build that way on max roll because I can't expect anyone to want to play the way I play, right? But in terms of just like going out all all balls to the wall damage, like I go that route. Is this Heart Seeker? Yeah, this is Heart Seeker. It'll be better once to get the dagger fixed. Yeah, on multiple fronts. If I can imbue clone with this, like it will actually jump up quite a bit too as well. The only reason why I don't have cloning ability is because I can't imbue it, so it does no damage. But with clone, and when it's imbued, it would actually like do something. Is the season 12 Heart Seeker leveling build still viable this season? I don't know. I haven't tried it, to be honest. I think you can do it, but me saying I think is not enough. Like I want to be certain, so I'm gonna actually like do a leveling adventure again with just Heart Seeker, just to make sure. But I think it should be fine. I really enjoyed the podcast today about talking about I was watching Matthias stream already, but the bonus was it was bonus to have Woody join in chat. You mean Woody the honorary rogue? Is he abandoned the class many seasons ago? What a traitor. No, I'm kidding. But like nah, it was cool having Woody there. Yeah, man. I feel it the most though. Think about this though. I was writing rogue guys alongside with Woody on max roll at the beginning of Diablo 4. So like, it was me and him on the rogue class at the start, before Ava, Matthias and whatnot. It was just me and Woody. Right? So we would like go back and forth a little bit. Actually, we didn't really go back and forth as much because Woody doesn't really say much. Woody's a very straight to the point kind of person. So when we would have our talks about stuff we find out, it's just kind of just like, he's just like, cool, put in the guide. Like there's like no back and forth or, kind of like bouncing theory off each other. It's just kind of like, hey, that sounds great. Put in the guide or make a bit out of it. Cool, right? So we never really had the talks that we have with the podcast stuff. But it's like I remember the multiple seasons before the expansion where we would work together as rogue build guide writers, and we would basically check each other's guides or review the guides before they go out and whatnot. And so then he abandoned the rogue class when the Spiritborn came out, and yeah. So like I feel like I feel it more than like the others do, because like I was there since day one. with this guy, right? But to be fair, though, he didn't really enjoy Rogue. In Vessel of Hatred, and I don't blame him. Rogue was very pigeonholed throughout the first expansion.
Watch over this one.
He's playing Rogue now. Oh yeah, he's playing Rogue now. Right? He did say he was gonna come back and play Rogue. So we'll see how long he sticks around, right? Ooh, that was close. See, I like playing like that. I like being able to stutter step around fixes like that. Many times I should have died there. Also need to check my imbuement cooldown thing. I had like 3 seconds of downtime on unstoppable targets. Probably because I probably changed out one of my charms, or I forgot to add a cooldown reduction somewhere. Yeah, that's such a long 5 seconds, 4.5 seconds. Can't change this one now. Neither is this one. I might have to just get me another Starless and roll cooldown. Then maybe an imbuement here for the marksman skills. Actually, how big of a difference would that make? Just doing one more. I already have imbuement skills here, so if I did that, just one, how big of a difference would that make? World boss less than 2 minutes. Okay, playing Rogue is a life choice. You don't get to abandon it. My thing is that my client only has rogues. I don't know how people getting all these warlock stuff and things. Okay, that's not big enough of a difference for me to make the trade there. I'm about to just roll cooldown. I think that's just what's gonna have to be. The hell top cooldown during replay. Oh yeah, dude. I've done that. 4 seconds for world boss. I'm not gonna make it. I don't even know where he's at. Oh, he's up here. Actually, maybe. Can we make it? Can we make it? I don't remember what season D4. I found your content, but during the first expansion, when Rogue was super tough to play. Your guide on your Rain of Arrows saved the season for me. Yeah, Rain of Arrows was pretty dope. I actually really enjoyed that setup. That actually kind of saved the seasons for me too as well. Oh, he's still here. Okay. Bills was really fun to play. Just like that, it was so underpowered at launch of Vessel of Hatred. Yeah, it was season 7, I think, when it really popped off. Think we'll get any rogue specific Ubers this time around? That's a good question. Yeah, we don't have any. Yeah, we don't have any. Actually, how many classes have like specific mythics? You got Spiritborn. Does Warlock have it? I know Spiritborn and Pally. Actually, I guess now think about it, not many classes have like specific mythics for them. Remember trying out your Heartseeker since last season before, it was super strong, but it was not as good at the start of Vessel of Hatred. You need like maximum lucky hit chance to make it work. I remember that. Barbs have Grandfather. Well, Grandfather is not like exclusive to them though, is it? Like other classes other classes that can wield two hands can use Grandfather. No, like Necromancers was using Grandfather like early D4, right? Bars have two. They have a bleed staff too, and a spear. That's not fair. I want a mythic. I want a rogue specific mythic. I might play some Barrage after this, just for the heck of it. I kind of want to do it with Crown and Lucian, but it's so hard to make it work on Barrage. It's just too expensive. Where's Eric at? Eric, are you still here? On YouTube? Doombringer? Surprised Warlock is in the crazy strong classes. Yeah, me too. Actually, I was very surprised to not see, purposely overtune Warlock. Or maybe, just maybe, plot twist. Maybe Warlock is the strongest. It's just that there's so many bugs that the other classes accidentally got that just makes them look stronger. But I wonder if everything is fixed, would Warlock be at the top? Like who knows, right? there's so many bugs out there right now. Like I'm pretty sure this is probably not the intent, right? for the tribute of the Horadrim. But bugs are open class. But right now you got your pin shot that's way overperforming, like extremely bugged. Also, the scaling of overpower is not supposed to be what it really is. Like they kind of forgot to change over how that worked on some of the other classes, which is why Barbarian is what is doing what they're doing. Among some other stuff. But yeah. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm a Mythic Blood that makes Rapid Fire do some crazy shit. Uber Bobo go crazy. Yeah. I agree. Yo, Bone Charm, 3GA, and oh my god. Oh my wow. Really, game? Really? Is a Barb or Ranger Rogue more gear dependent? I'd probably say Barb. It's more gear dependent. In the match where guys say what the best unique charm option is for melee rogues. It should be in the build guides, Neo Geo. So like if you look into like Twist and Blaze and Flurry, like Matthias should have the charm you want to use. And the thing about it is that like it's kind of interesting because you can interchange what becomes a charm depending on what you have, right? So like if you have a couple of unique pieces like a glove or a ring or a sword / dagger, any of those could technically go in as a charm versus a regular piece of gear. So I will point you to the guides in terms of what charm you should be using. And I'm pretty sure there's some interchangeable stuff. He said, please don't nerf overpower. APOC Warlock is so fun. I don't think that APOC. So it is scaling with some of the older overpower mechanics, but nowhere near as egregious as it is on Barb. I don't think they're gonna do anything with it this season though. So like I think anyone who's doing that is safe for sure. Like this is probably something that they would address down the line, like potentially next season. If I want anything here before I switch to Barrage. That 3GA hurt. It hurt a lot.
I'll be here, swinging away.
D3 remastered as well. You know, I actually would love a D3 pre-expansion remastered. I would play the hell out of that thing. Personally, I would. There were some good things going for it. Young boss like right now, I got 4G Elder, and I don't think it's very in a god roll. One. You play Demon Hunter on D3 release, and I remember how fragile that was. Cleared hell though, that's true. Yo, what up? Harris Shinden, what's happening, man? How goes D3? Oh, that's where you get that from. That's where Zeke got that from. Okay. So I take a trip down memory lane doing a brutal playthrough of StarCraft 2 this week. So Harrison is so like, believe it or not, I know like D4 has been meme worthy for a long time. And it deserved the majority of those memes for sure. But I will say that this expansion has really, even if they did add many D3 elements, which I'm not against, but I feel like they could have, been more creative with their choices. The game is in a considerably better state. Like, they did a phenomenal job with this expansion, like by far. Like, it is absolutely worth the play. And it kind of makes you wonder what in the world they were doing with the first expansion, with an expansion like this, right? Like, this is one hell of a job they did. Two subs, Vamp and Berkler, appreciate the subs. Don't they have new leadership compared to launch? Well, they did have the D3 team come over during the time frame, so they had extra help. Which also explains why you see a lot of D3 stuff. And that kind of made it in, but yeah. I think what the thing is that the stuff that, like, we didn't really get much. Like when you think about the seasons in Vessel of Hatred, like, the seasonal themes were some of the seasonal themes were okay, but if you notice, like, the class changes and stuff or the system changes were very minimal. Like, very minimal. It's like they were working on this behind the scenes for a very long time. All good here, Shinden. All good. Imagine if the game was just good on release, though. Yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, at the same time, imagine D4 like pushing back the release date 3 years, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, we were gonna release it, April of 2023, but yeah, we need about 3 more years to, let it cook, right? I think that would not have gone over as well either at the end of the day. But that's kind of what it took when you think about it. How close is weapon damage and main stat roll? I think weapon damage beats it out slightly. If you're GAing weapon damage versus GAing or masterworking the main stat roll, the weapon damage probably wins out. At least from the damage calculators I have. Okay, I'm going to try. All right, we're gonna mess with some barrage, but I want to do. Crown of Lucian with it though. They release again at least 12, 24 months too early. They don't realize how patient gamers would be for good games. I don't think it's the gamers that are the issue though, Harris Shinden. The gamers aren't. Well, I would say okay, the gamers are a part of the issue, but let's be honest. This is the TikTok generation. Like if a video doesn't catch your attention in like 4 or 5 seconds, people are swiping. You think 24 months is gonna work well in today's gaming market? Probably not. But the bigger thing is honestly just the shareholders. It's not that the devs wouldn't have taken the time to do it. It's just the shareholders and the people at the top controlling the when they need to make money now sort of type thing. Reaching quarterly goals and quotas or whatnot is just way more important than if a game is finished. So do you ever not want weapon damage roll? Oh no, I'm saying you want weapon damage roll. Like, I mean, I think masterworking the weapon damage roll on the weapon that you're using is definitely, in my opinion, the most important. Although there are times, although it does, how close it is versus main stat as well as other multipliers just depends on how much of the other multipliers and main stat you already have. Whereas weapon damage is going to always just be what it is because you're not going to have more than that one roll on that one weapon. Whereas you got to take into account how much critical strike damage you already have or how much cold damage you already have as a multiplier if you want to GA that, or your main stat, how much main stat do you already have before trying to masterwork it. I think I'm understanding what you're saying. So generally speaking, I try to have both, but if I had to go without one of them for like maybe maximum health or something, I'd probably let go of the dex probably over the weapon damage if I had to get rid of one of them for maximum life. But then again, very close, because it could be very close between dex and cold damage multiplier, depending on how much cold damage multiplier they have. So sorry, it's not like a straight answer that I can give you where it's like this one's always better. 100%. Please make a Rain of Arrows Aerostorm build for Rogue. I can't until Beastfall until Beastfall boosts are fixed. Trust me, I want to play Rain of Arrows, but there's no feel good way to do it right now. I know, sir, but trust me, if I make one right now, with how Beastfall boost is right now, you would not want to play it. You would not want to play it. It'll be weaker than any of the other range builds by a significant portion, and it would be very convoluted to play, and you can't spam it. So when Beastfall boost gets fixed, I guarantee you I will have that up for you. I promise. Until then, all right, let me see if I can and this trigger. Which one do I want to do here? It's a Chronolysian. I guess I'm asking because I see some builds not go weapon damage at all on weapons and go main stats on others. So sometimes it also just depends. Like on my one-handers, I don't do weapon damage at all because I don't use the weapon. So like on my one-handers, you know, unfortunately uniques always roll with weapon damage, so you don't have a choice. But like on my legendaries, you'll never see weapon damage on it because I never use the weapon for weapon damage. It doesn't apply to the original weapon or by any means. So on the weapon that I'm using, I do weapon damage. On weapons I'm not using, like these two, I don't. I can't speak for the others and why they may do what they do on that. But currently, that's my understanding. But keep in mind, the expansion is still quite young and new, so people are still trying to figure out things. What's wrong with Beastfall boots? It doesn't reset the cool. It doesn't lower the cooldown of Rain of Arrows when you cast it, or Death Trap. But it works with Death Trap with one variation, and that's it. But for Rain of Arrows, it works with none. So you can't get your cooldown low enough to be able to actually use it in the meaningful way. That's the problem with Rain of Arrows. Okay, I can't find my Chronolysian charm. What'd I do with it? Hope I didn't like accidentally salvage it or something by accident. It's not in any of these stashes here. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of my face, of course. It's like right in front of my face. It's like, bro, like I've been here. I've been sitting here all this time. Okay, so let's do that here. We're gonna put this. All right, so in order to be able to run Chronolysian, I have to go with this, which is gonna be very, very dangerous. I think. I'm not sure. We're about to find out. Uh, so far, so good. I just can't miss a shot. Like if I miss a shot, I'm in trouble with my energy. Yeah, like that. If I miss getting the extra arrows from the set, I'm screwed. Yeah. That's still too. That's still too difficult. I'll have to roll another resource restore. This is actually not that good of a ring either. Also, I wonder if I just do Etna's in the cube. I have better go now, so like I have to kind of think about what I can rearrange now. I think I probably have a better weapon, another sword that's also like really good that I can use. Because I'm gonna put Etna's in the cube and I can just wear this. Although this isn't like too much better, I guess, but maybe I'm just overthinking it. Yeah, I'm overthinking it. I'm just doing it as a side thing anyway. Just keep it as is. Jeweler rat.
May the light keep you.
Missing. I got that. Marksman. Kind of use the other glove. This one, yeah, this one. Means we have to change the aspect though. Shiv. Then we're gonna throw this back. Is that at least in the patch for Wednesday, the beast fall boosting? I didn't see it. I don't think so. Best way to spend obols is gambling. Yeah, it's really the only way to spend obols. Is it true that you said earlier that shadow clones aren't imbuable, or did you hear? Or did I mishear? The basic attacks with the Etna's dagger does not allow for shadow clones to be imbued. That also includes the Century shadow clone, which is unfortunate because that hurts. That hurts like basically any of the builds I do, like Rapid Fire, Barrage, and Heartseeker, from not being able to use Clone and add just a little bit of extra damage. Especially Heartseeker. It's a crit multi-stat, kind of like getting back into D3 stats where all you want was crit damage, or like D4 all vulnerable. Or do you think it's okay? Kind of. I say kind of because there is diminishing returns. But yes, crit and vulnerable are coming back into light as two stats that you do want. At least on Rogue. I can't speak for other classes, but on Rogue, for sure. And the thing about it is that you want a mix of them, right? So like you want to like masterwork the crit damage on like your one-handers on Rogue, right? But then on like your glove and rings, you actually want to masterwork the vulnerable damage. It's because there's diminishing returns. So you kind of want to balance them out to where you don't just go pure chasing crit damage. You want to try to like chase or mix and match both crit damage and vulnerable damage to scale as much as you possibly can. The all damage and cold damage will roll at the same time as your crit damage, so it's kind of like you're gonna always have that alongside. So there's nothing bad about just having that alongside everything else because it's not interfering with anything else. But as far as crit damage and vulnerable damage, you need to kind of have a balance of both, but get a lot of them. So yeah, to answer your question, very similar to or close to how it was back in even beginning of D4, just not as egregious. I think I got everything. Okay. Part of me feels like I'm missing something still, but I guess I'll find out as I'm playing, right? And be like, oh yeah. Probably should have put the skill on my bar for it to work, right? Alright, so even bugged barrage we're gonna do.
Chart the course. Where do we strike?
Uh Gregory on barrage. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We'll do another escalation. Cool. Actually didn't mind the other one as much. Wait, hold up. I'm missing something. Yep, there's a freeze that shouldn't be there. Yep, I gotta go back to town. Gotta make sure I save over this setup so I don't make that mistake again. I know it's missing something. Here we go. Let's remove that freeze. There we go. This down. Where the enemies at? I feel like the density's like not here. So spread out. It's such a big map with like nothing on it. Come on. Give me something to shoot. Mr. Aerostorm this season. I did. Like pure Aerostorm is not. It's not worth. Because it's very difficult to scale physical damage, and since you can't imbue Aerostorm, it's just kind of has a natural. I guess kind of falls off a bit versus anything that you can imbue. I mean, you can do like a hybrid or something, but at that point, you can just build it into Barrage or something and do the same thing, if not better. Yeah, you see how spacious this is? Like, there's like nothing in it. Actually wasn't too bad. All right, let me see if it's still bugging out. Okay, it's actually kind of showcasing. Well, no, it's not showcasing correctly still. Eh. But there's no Elise. I think that was on purpose, though. I think the lack of Elise is on purpose. I don't necessarily say I agree or disagree with that decision, but the lack of Elise, I think, is done on purpose. Ideally, to get us from only just farming Elites and actually having to care about killing the trash mobs. And also with the Elite affixes being as dangerous as they are, stacking 4 or 5 Elites is instant death. And there's not enough mitigation in the game to actually survive that kind of stuff. So it appears to me that they just kind of lessen the amount of elite encounters to make sure you're not dealing with as many nasty affixes, and that you have to actually be able to, kill the trash mobs or care about them. But at the same time, on the other end of things, it can make dungeons like the ones I just came from feel very empty. Like very, very empty. Like more normal. I do like that normal mobs mean something now, but I like more of these. Yeah, it does get really difficult to balance that though, because it's like if you have like maybe half the map, like 40% of the map is elites, right? And 60% of the maps is trash mobs, then you're naturally going to just skip all the trash mobs because the elites are just going to be worth more in general. So I guess their balance is, okay, well, let's just lower the amount of elites down to like, I don't know, maybe 20% of the map. And it's like, okay, sure, but, question mark. I don't know. I think it needs work for sure. Amazing how busy makes the effort that we built. I enjoyed this season after season, including Druid. Oh man, what build were you playing on Druid? I guess I can just travel to the whatchamacallit for that. I really like the layout of the dungeon, like just like visually how it looks. Not necessarily playing through it, but visually it looks awesome. Cataclysm Druid. You like Cataclysm? I've always heard many people complain about the mechanics of Cataclysm. I thought like Druids were more excited that that isn't like a thing or not the main thing anymore. You want Orphan Maker to be good? I don't know. I'm gonna have to hard disagree there. I hated the Orphan Maker, honestly. I know what they were trying to do, but oh man, it just felt such a slog to play. In my opinion. Finally got Edness off of Infernal Compass. Oh, nice. That actually felt good. Mirage Multi-Shot feels good as a build. Another Butcher.
The vile bloodsuckers are only capable of lies, unless properly motivated. We have many useful tools to inflict pain upon these soul beasts. Their screams, harsh and howling, eventually become like a song. It is a blessing to be able to heal and send their demented souls back to hell.
Appreciate the follow. Is Barrage the moose? I mean, Barrage is not bad at all. It is bugged though, as in like it's not getting the combo point bonuses correctly. So it's like missing like 60% of its damage, but it's strong enough to like still farm T12. Like as I'm doing right now, like it's not awful. But just knowing that it's bugged can be bothersome. It's like, oh man, I could be doing quite a bit more damage if it did the thing it was supposed to do. What's the basically the build combo points up? Honestly, it's hard to not go Heartseeker on any of the combo point setups because Heartseeker actually does damage alongside your core skills. So it's kind of like, unlike the others, which doesn't really offer anything that Heartseeker doesn't already offer as well. It's hard to go anything else besides Heartseeker for the for building combo points. I want to see a series where a streamer takes the worst build and try to push. Woody and I actually talked about something like that at some point, like a while back, and it never came to fruition though. But we talked about it. Okay. I was still able to one stagger Aster off, which is good. I could find some way to freaking put to put kind of Lucian in the setup. It'd be I can make some of that damage up, but or even like Gladiator's Triumph. I don't know. Do I have a charm version of that? That actually might be worth. All these other stuff is trash. How about that one? Nope.
Taken apart. Melted down. You know where to find me.
I don't think I have a charm of that. Lord's Talisman. What have I kept for charms? Or yeah, charms. Definitely want to keep that. Iron Fist, maybe not. Lucian, I definitely want to keep. But we'll keep these. I'm not going to use that. I do use that. I probably will use that. Not going to use this. So we'll do these three. Return this into a talisman. Or I mean a talisman, a charm. And it rolled all stats, I guess. Okay. Alright. Let's just give it a shot. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna perform, but hey. Do I have an extra Edna with GA crit? I do not. I'm looking for one with GA crit. Yet alone an extra. My original idea was to use Flurry Mobility version as a get around because I don't like dash charges. And I was going to use Twisting Blades as your damage. Do you think there's potential in a setup like that? But there isn't enough space in the skill bar. Oh, no, you can. You can. As long as you're not doing like any combo point based things or whatever, you can totally put Twisting Blades and then Flurry to move around. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. And you also get some life back when you do move around with Flurry. So I mean, there is benefits to doing that. I mean, I'd probably do that. And the question would, do I have a Sea Lord's gloves with crit and cooldown for trade? I haven't kept them. I don't pretty much keep those gloves. So I'm pretty sure I don't have any for trade. I'm sorry. Mr. Carper TV, appreciate the sub. All right, we're gonna try to do the Gladiator's Triumph. I think I have enough crit chance to make that work. I guess we'll find out whether this is gonna gonna be worth. Right, we're on a step of already. Okay. I got my answer. We're leaving. We're leaving. We're switching back. Appreciate the follow. Well, it was worth the try. Speaking of which, don't I have a 15% scoundrels charm that I'm not using for some strange reason? Yeah, I do. I'm using this 14% one. Okay. Oh, that was a failed experiment. Hell no with that. Good. I think some sort of Orphan build with the big pin shocker work. Not really, no. The multipliers just aren't there. Like, legit, the two-hand legendary with frozen memories is just a bigger multiplier by a significant margin. The only thing the Orphan Maker has over a two-hand legendary is the fact that it's unconditional damage. That's it. Which is good. Unconditional damage is good. But you also gotta remember you attack a lot slower with a lower multiplier. So your booms would be bigger with the regular legendary than with Orphan Maker. Which kind of defeats the purpose of Orphan Maker to begin with, if you really think about it. I had the wrong whatchamacallit in. Oh, he's still alive? Oof. What glyphs do I have? Damn, I still have a headhunter in the whatchamacallit. I gotta fix that. Where is the head? I think it should be under here, yeah. But it's funny how everything around it was like 0 strength. Like no nose into strength. I don't know how I have all these points here and not a single path had like strength on it. Literally not a single point. It's all good though. I just need to get just a couple of nodes and then I have extra. There we go. That's it. 29. Now I have 42 extra points. Look, it's been a while since I actually like try to optimize this setup like on the thing. Missing a lot of toughness. Rid of that. All right, good enough. That's fine. Good enough. Still kind of low. That is so low. Oh well. Slay Gregory. Fudge. T12. Is Renevero's rogue build gone now? Beastfall boost is bugged. It isn't proccing the cooldowns for Renevero, which is why you don't see a guide on max roll yet. Keyword yet. When they fix it, it'll be there. In the meantime, am I gonna play PoE 2? Probably. It actually didn't go as bad as I thought it was gonna go.
Excellent fight. There is no escape. Your futile struggles only fuel my rage. You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
Bad to pit. Speaking of which, let me actually put on the right rune and get rid of the wolves. I don't know what I have the wolves. And let's go two-hand bow, crossbow.
Thousands of gems in a handful of dust.
Should I just did the other way? There we go. This is Barrage Rapid Fire. This is Barrage. Breaking You Farm Scoundrel's Kiss. Butcher? Fortunately, Butcher. Scoundrels. So it used to be Zir, but not anymore. Oh yeah. Attack speed. D3 multi-shot days. Robo mobs. This was a lot better to play with a two-hand bow versus two-hand crossbow. Lots of little mobs though, of course. Yeah, I got room. Move, I think. I have other mobs in the back. I feel like even with all these extra glyph upgrades now that we get, I feel a lot more than I used to. This one is Nightmare Dead. We'll do slums. I don't think I played this dungeon at all this season. I used resource of zone rogue. I feel every skill costs so much resources. If you're following a guide or a setup, usually most rogue builds have like a lucky hit resource restore somewhere. Usually it's like a ring temper. I have one on this ring here, and of course Starless helps a ton. Without Starless, you kind of have to you might need like 2 of these rolls, and also maybe energy on your basic attack depending on the build that you're playing. In this setup, I have to have energy on a basic attack. But yeah, mainly the lucky hit restore is one of those things that's kind of overlooked on accident.
was a pale stranger, Elias, he called himself, skulking
Oh
around
yeah,
the kitchen
can't go that way.
When he saw me, he approached to ask about the missing mortar.
Skip the prisoner.
I directed him to the palace guard. Only hours later, came the servants and rescued some disasters in the dungeons. It can only be him. I have an awful feeling. Will you meet me tonight at the tea house? I could use a warm cup. Can you help me? Yours always.
My savior.
If I get my pistol with Barrage, I actually haven't fought him yet. Still, I actually don't know what I'm waiting for. I kind of forget. I probably should at some point though, but I'm sure I can kill him on any of my bow builds. I just haven't learned the mechanics yet,
To find the ring,
but I am looking forward to it though.
excuse me.
Oh, I mean, the damage is there. It's just a matter of just learning the mechanics. So I don't get one shot. Actually, I'll keep that. Also, not an awful chest. Kind of like the G and the vulnerable. I can get rid of everything else. Onto that. Yeah, all right. Let me actually save this setup so I'm not having to redo it next time I want to play Barrage. Yep. Boom. All right, y'all. I do need to head on out. Got an early day tomorrow. So, who do we want to raid on out to? Oh, Vanderforge is on. A long time since raid out to him. He has very hype stream environment. Yeah, man. I believe the patch is Wednesday, right? If I'm not mistaken. Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. But yeah, so you won't see me tomorrow. But you'll see me on Tuesday. Yeah, today's Sunday, right? Yeah, so you won't see me Monday, but you'll see me Tuesday. And yeah, if we come across something new or different or whatnot, I will let you guys know, or I will actually put it up in the guides. In the meantime, we're kind of just chilling until the patch arrives, so we can try new things or see what else is still bugged and what we can add to builds, subtract the builds, etc., etc. All my builds actually get a buff when when the patch comes, so that's good. In the meantime, enjoy Vander Forge. I'll see y'all Tuesday, and as always, till next time.